your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
It's been a really cloudy, overcast, chilly day. There have been a couple of rain showers out there. Wouldn't be surprised if another few showers try to make their way in here overnight, but don't expect a whole lot of that rain, but it is definitely going to stay chilly. 46 Decatur, 45 in Lincoln. Kids at the bus stop, probably down around 40 degrees as they're heading into school. And the same for you as you head into work, and only topping out around 55, 54 degrees there on the way home tomorrow. We've got a lot of rain that may be around for part of your weekend. I will look at that for you and then talk about a really cold blast of air that's heading our way. We'll show you when that arrives coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
Their lives have kind of been put in limbo since this flood.
Floodwaters nearly wiped out one city, and it wasn't for the first time. Now they're trying to get federal help to fight future disasters.
Plus, a mother is accused of killing her toddler, why police believe she did it.
A group of women is trying to raise money for cancer research, how they're doing it from behind bars.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
We want the people to know that we're working on their behalf in any way that we can to help them.
WCIA is creating a plan to prevent natural disasters from wiping out the city. It's a much-needed course of action after record flooding swept through about a year and a half ago. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. Flood damage forced a lot of people out of their homes, and other natural disasters have caused even more problems in WCIA. Now the city has the chance to get hefty grants from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, but first they have to prove they're qualified. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen is in our newsroom tonight. Jennifer, there was a meeting today to kickstart all of this.
Jessica, there was, and dozens of people showed up. In order to apply for the FEMA money, the city has to establish its track record with natural disasters and have a determined course of preventative action in place.
These disasters are unpreventable. There's nothing we can do to stop them.
Floods, ice storms, tornadoes, and other severe weather disasters can set destruction in motion. Record flooding washed out parts of WCIA in 2018. Almost 2 years later, Mayor John Allhands says the city is still trying to recover.
Some people have been in limbo since the 18 flood because, we didn't have any of the resources or assets or money to do something.
The Illinois Emergency Management Agency agreed to pay for the city to develop a plan to combat the damage when storms sweep through. The process is being expedited.
Under the normal circumstances, this would take about 18 months. We're looking at getting this done in 7.
The WCIA Hazard Mitigation Planning Committee was formed to identify projects that will reduce the impacts to people and property before severe weather strikes.
We have a berm around our sewer treatment plant now, but with this record flood, it got really close. So this might help us be able to put up a flood protection wall.
Alderwoman Mona Olfers says this money will help repair the past and help fix the future.
We're not going to get rid of the problem with the flood. So we have to figure out how we're going to move forward.
Right now, it's unknown how much money the city would get from this. A state grant paid for the consultant to create the natural hazard mitigation plan. That cost $30,000. In the newsroom, I'm Jennifer Jensen, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. There will be 3 more natural hazard mitigation meetings. The next will be on December 19th at 5 p.m. Anybody is welcome to attend. The last will be a public hearing. The date for that has not been set yet.
A mother was arrested in Decatur this morning after police say she killed her son. Jessica Logan is charged with the murder of 19-month-old Jaden Comage. Court documents say she searched in her phone how to suffocate the day before the toddler died. They also say Logan tried to cash in on a life insurance policy she had on her child the same day he was found unresponsive. DCFS is conducting its own investigation and has confirmed it has a history with the family. Neighbors we spoke with say they're shocked about what happened.
She's like a very good mom. And like I say, the little boy used to run to my house, ring the doorbell, ask for candy, and of course I ask, can they have some? And if I have any, then I give it to him. And that's why I'm still sitting at the house, because I'm in shock.
There is much more to this investigation. You can find those court documents at WCIA.com. A man was shot in the leg in Champaign this afternoon. Police found him near West Springfield and Parking Lot Road. It happened around 12:30. The victim was 28. Police believe someone inside a car fired a gun while another car was traveling. No arrests have been made.
New for you tonight, a Champaign man was sentenced for cutting off his electronic monitoring bracelet. Shamario Brown removed it while on parole for aggravated battery to a peace officer and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. He was one of several men identified last year as having gang affiliations in Champaign County. Brown was sentenced to 2 years in prison for taking off that device. Now for an update, the Champaign County Board had its first of several discussions on consolidating the county's jails. They're looking to combine the two sites, one in downtown Urbana and the satellite jail on Learman Avenue. Members of one committee already agreed it's too expensive to keep both locations operational. But at public comment tonight, people spoke against building a new jail, saying instead the money would be better spent on keeping people out of jail. The Cunningham Township Supervisor says there needs to be a discussion about who needs to be behind bars.
How can I work with you to keep folks, and how can Andy, my cohort across Wright Street, work with you to keep our participants who basically are involved in crimes of poverty and extreme deprivation out of jail so that you don't have to spend $10, $25, $50 million incarcerating people.
Construction management.
The architect for the proposed facility says it would cost between $42 million and $52 million to build everything on the list, but board members say they can pick and choose what they want for the facility. New tonight, an uptick in trauma cases is causing a critical need for blood donations. Community Blood Services of Illinois is struggling to keep up with hospitals' demand for blood supply, so they're asking you to donate as soon as possible. Every Carl and OSF facility gets its blood from Community Blood Services. Right now, they're critically low in types O negative and A negative.
The shelf life of a unit of whole blood is only 42 days. And you've got to remember that a couple of those days we're testing to make sure that the blood is safe to go out to be used on a patient who is seriously ill.
Platelets are also in low supply. That has a shelf life of only 5 days. If you donate blood between now and Sunday, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a $500 Visa gift card.
An event in Champaign County is helping churches and temples learn more about hate crimes. More than 100 people were at Sinai Temple in Champaign to discuss ways to protect places of worship. It covered everything from the law behind hate crimes to security and how houses of worship can protect themselves. People from a variety of faiths were in attendance, including the Catholic and Christian Church and Jewish and Hindu temples.
We probably wouldn't have thought of going to such length if so many incidents of hate crimes, so many violent acts had not taken place.
The first assistant United States attorney says they had a similar event in Decatur about a month ago. They're planning more throughout central Illinois. Neighbors in Georgetown say they're worried about people speeding on one stretch of road. It's in an area very close to two school zones on East-West Street. That section of road is a 25-mile-per-hour zone before turning into a sharp curve. Pinecrest Elementary and Georgetown Ridge Farm schools are both within a half mile. People living there say drivers go a lot closer to 50 miles per hour most of the time. One neighbor says when she moved in, she was warned not to let her kids play outside.
I worry every day that one of them's going to get hit. I actually used to, when I moved in and I seen how they drive, I actually used to be afraid someone's going to come into my front room, like come around that curve wrong. I'm not, putting down our police department. I think those guys have got a tough job to do in this town with other things going on, but once in a while, maybe they need an extra cop or something down to watch once in a while.
Some neighbors suggested rumble strips, speed bumps, or additional police patrols. Georgetown police say they're aware of the speeding and do their best to catch them, but they usually have one officer working per shift.
We have a follow-up on a looming strike in Decatur. Teachers' assistants are set to walk out on Tuesday. This comes after a negotiation session between the union and school board leaders ended abruptly yesterday. The two were at the bargaining table for just 15 minutes. The union president says the board decided not to budge from its offer on health insurance. We talked with a mother who has 2 teenagers with special needs in the district.
It's kind of like handing a newborn baby over. When they're nonverbal, they can't come back and tell you how their day was. You have to depend on people that you trust to tell you what they did and how their day was and, you know, how much they ate for lunch.
She says she may have to take off of work if her kids' TAs go on strike. Lawmakers return to Springfield Monday for veto session. One of the first things they plan to talk about is banning flavored e-cigs and tobacco products. Today, convenience store and vape shop owners gathered at the Capitol. Vape store owners say if the ban passes, they won't be able to sell more than 90% of the items in their stores. Convenience stores wouldn't be hit as hard, but they still say a ban is not the answer to keeping flavored products away from young people.
People are talking about flavors, you know, like bubble gum and things like that appeal to kids. I think there's some definite room for regulation there. To me, that's a very sensible approach. But just to pursue an outright ban on these products, especially when all of our neighboring states have them, to us is short-sighted. And again, it would just recreate a black market.
The Illinois Association of Convenience Stores says it believes kids are getting their products off the black market rather than in stores.
Not sure if you have the flu or a cold, how you can tell the difference.
Plus, you've probably seen Relay for Life events held at parks, but not this time around.
And Purdue pulled out the win against the Illini at Memorial Stadium last year. Now Illinois is looking to return the favor this weekend.